Morning everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be a slightly different video. We're going to have a bit of a chat about audiobooks because I have had a complete change of heart when it comes to audiobooks. Used to hate them, completely hate them, wouldn't even listen to them, but now I'm absolutely in love. In fact, a lot of my reading at the moment is done through audiobook format. And I want to kind of share my experience with you to see whether I've done something, potentially, to help my audiobook aversion. And if that is the case, then maybe I can share that with you guys. And if you are keen to want to love audiobooks, but you've been struggling, then maybe we can help you today. Grab yourself a cup of coffee. It's going to be a chilled, kind of chatty video. I've got myself coffee here, and I've discovered this year as well, all the discoveries, goodness me, I've been having a life-changing year. Oatly oat milk in the grey barista version. If you haven't tried it, I would highly recommend, especially as I wasn't particularly a coffee drinker before, and this has revolutionised my coffee experience. I now have coffee every single day with this. It's just so creamy and beautiful, and I just recommend to all. So there we go, grab your coffee, let's begin. If I take us back to my history of not enjoying people reading stories to me, I think it all began when I was in high school. So in an English class one year, we were asked to read, we were asked to read The Great Gatsby over summer holidays so that then we could start studying it in the new term. And of course I did that because I was a well-behaved student. So I read the book, and then I get to the new class in the new year, and our teacher is different. So it's not the same teacher that we had who set the project to begin with. And this new teacher kind of approaches the class and she says, has anybody read the book that you were set over the summer? So did anyone read The Great Gatsby? Great Gatsby. So I obviously put my hand up, and there were a couple of other people that did, but other than that it was pretty rubbish. Nobody had read the book. So she was then like, oh brilliant, because actually I don't want you to study that anymore. We're not going to read The Great Gatsby. And she changed our book to Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. Obviously that was a bit of annoying for me because I'd already read the book. However, instead of then just letting us go and read the book at home, which would make so much more sense because then we could use our classroom time for actual, productive work. So instead of doing that, she decided that we would take it in turns and read the book as a classroom, and all of our lessons for quite a while were taken up with just reading the book. And I think that's what caused me to hate having people read books to me. Got a real thing for accents and the way people's tone of voices and their inflections on certain things, and I think my brain just doesn't compute very well when I'm finding the person's voice a bit grating on the ears, and it's just like my brain can't take the information in, doesn't hold on to characters' names, the setting or anything like that, and it just disregards all the information. So I've just never had success with any of that kind of stuff. So up until last year, I had given up audiobooks as never being able to enjoy them purely for that reason. I don't know what it was that suddenly made me think to try one again, but around the latter part of last year, I had been listening to a lot of podcasts, so I really enjoy podcasts. And in my mind, I was not connecting the fact that a podcast and a radio show or anything like that is quite similar to an audiobook because it's just people talking to you. And if I can listen to a podcast and enjoy and kind of take the information and understand what's going on, then I'm pretty sure I can do the same with an audiobook. Another thing that sparked my want to listen to audiobooks as well was the fact that I'm now walking to work. So I've got about half an hour to and then back again, so an hour's total each day, in which I was just listening to music, which is fine. I actually thought, do you know what, this time I could be reading so much if I just enjoyed audiobooks. So spoiler alert, I tried audiobooks and I enjoyed them. I don't know why I thought I wouldn't. I think it's just that experience of having people read things to me in my childhood that just made me think I was never going to ever enjoy an audiobook. Gave it a go. Bloody love it. I think another thing though that was putting me off audiobooks was the price of them, or having to subscribe to something to be able to listen to them. I'm just not up for that, and I don't know if I ever would be, Potentially in the future, if I become like a die-hard audiobook fan, then maybe I will. But for the minute, I'm really enjoying listening to them through my local library's Overdrive system. Now, guys, if you've never researched into Overdrive, I would highly recommend that you do so. If you've got a local library, just go to I'll leave the link for it down below so you can go and find the webpage. But I think it's like a global thing, it's not just the UK. You can type in your address and it will bring up local libraries that are kind of signed in on this system called Overdrive. And then what you do is you make sure you are a member of your local library. They will give you some kind of login details so that you can then log into their kind of subsection of Overdrive, which is kind of just for your local area. So for instance, for mine, I'm signed in on the Devon Libraries, and on there are thousands of ebooks and audiobooks, and I just listen to them either through my phone or on my iPad, and it's brilliant. It's so good. I'll just show you, shall I? Let me get it up on my phone. I'll come around that side. As you can see, this is my kind of shelf. At the moment, I've got Terry Pratchett's Mort that I'm listening to, and my recent books that I've had, you can see here. So the book You Wish Your Parents Had Read, Anna and the Swallow Man, lots of kind of different things, and the library section of it, so kind of breaks everything down, and you can just pick anything from there. I'm not being sponsored by these people, by the way. It's just really, really, really great, and I would highly recommend, if you don't have the kind of disposable budget to be paying for subscriptions or paying out, you know, for loads of books and things like that. I've read so much stuff through the library, especially if it's stuff that you know you may not want to keep. Because I'm like an avid kind of keeper of books, collector of books. I think we all are here, really, aren't we? Because we love reading. But quite often I'll read a book, or I'll be sent a book, or whatever it might be. I'll be given a book, and actually I read it and I hate it, or I didn't enjoy it as much as I hoped, or whatever it might be, and I give it away. I don't tend to keep books on my shelf if they got like 3 stars or lower, and so with this you are able to read loads of books, and I've read a fair few on there this year, which I've then gone and purchased in paperback or whatever it might be, because I know that I love them. One of them, for instance, was Circe by Madeline Miller. That book, fantastic. Read it through there, and now I own it in paperback because I absolutely loved it. And that's the other good thing about this. My local one certainly has so many current titles, recent releases, like books that have all been like nominated for awards, the Women's Prize books, Man Booker books, all those different things. They kind of come up periodically and kind of really try and stay relevant with what they're suggesting for you and things like that. The thing they've had on there recently is a very easily accessible area that holds all books by people of colour or people of different ethnicities, which I've really appreciated, because up until then I found it really difficult searching for books by their kind of author, or like where the author is from. I like found one subsection that was like African American authors, but it had like 3 books in it, and I knew that they had more in there that were by people of colour, but I just don't think they kind of tagged them properly so that they weren't pulling up in searches and things. But they've now got a whole section on that off the back of Black Lives Matter and everything kind of coming up into the forefront of everyone's minds this year. So that's there, and that's stayed there since kind of the early part of the year. So I do really hope that they keep that as one of the main parts of their website, so that I can always find books that they kind of add into that section. Another thing that I do whilst listening to audiobooks, which is something I didn't realise for a while, is change the speed at which the person is speaking, because I often find the kind of standard normal speed is so slow that I just find, like, I think to myself, I could be reading this a lot quicker. Like, why is this person speaking so slowly? And obviously it's done for a reason, because, you know, some people need to hear things at a slower pace. However, I find that if I kind of ramp it up to the higher setting, which I think is like double the speed, the normal speed, I just find I'm enjoying it a lot more because the story's moving faster and all of that kind of stuff, which is really, really good. And it also means that it like halves the time of the audiobook. So like something that might be like 8 hours long actually only takes you 4 hours to listen to because you've doubled the speed. So that's always something that, like a function that you can use if you don't already. And audiobooks, you always look at them and go, 36 hours of reading, gosh, that's rubbish. Like, I'd rather just read it myself. You can half that time if you speed it up, so long as you can understand them. I mean, some of them I've definitely sped up and there's no chance that you that you could understand them, so I kind of speed them back down again. But yeah, definitely something you should look into if audiobooks have always been a bit of a like, not sure kind of thing for you. Come and chat to me in the comments. Let me know what you think on audiobooks, and if you've had like changes of feelings towards them, or if you use them for specific reasons. Like for me, listening to it on my kind of journey to work, that's really the only time I ever listen to them. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Take it easy, guys. See you soon. Bye.